All right, good morning, everybody. Meteorologist Rebecca Sweet here. The time is right around 9:06 this morning. Thanks so much for joining us on our Facebook Live. So we have Maddie on standby right now. We're going to try and answer some of your questions. If you do have a lot of questions, and I know a lot of people, we always get this when we have severe weather in place, a lot of people are going to want to know what time are these storms going to be moving into our area. So I'm going to be completely transparent. Timing with these storms has been kind of the one question that we've had in place, but we're really starting to get more of a general idea of when these storms will be pushing their way through the area. And the one thing that we're really starting to get more of an agreement on is just the strength and the impact that these storms will be bringing into the area. We've had it being a 10 weather impact day since yesterday, so now let's kind of get right to what we are seeing. We'll keep this brief. Again, we're not going to take up too much of your time considering we're still talking about storms that are going to be arriving later on today. But leading up to that point, we may see a few prefrontal showers. As we start off the day right now, we've had a few spotty showers and some thunderstorms push their way across the northern half of the plateau. You have to think we have so much energy to our north. It's been a very active morning through parts of Kentucky and into the Ohio River Valley, and so some of that energy is getting down into our area, and so it's allowing for a few rumbles of thunder. But basically what we're seeing right now is just a few scattered showers in place. The main line of storms that will be moving into the area later on today is what we're going to be most concerned with when it comes to our risk for severe activity. We do have a wind advisory that will be in effect for the higher elevations of Blount, Cocke, and Sevier counties. That's going to be in effect until 2 a.m. tomorrow morning. So everyone is going to be seeing widespread gusty winds today out of the southwest, but it's these warm southwest winds drawing in this really favorable environment for these thunderstorms to develop. You have to think that highs today going to be back into the upper 70s, which is almost 10 to 15 degrees above average. As for that severe potential, the Storm Prediction Center has really not shifted since last night. We still have that level 2 and that level 3 risk in place here locally for seeing some strong storms. And I know what you're thinking. Again, we've had these colors in place since yesterday. What exactly does this mean? Well, when we get these brighter colors in place, basically going into the oranges and the reds, that's a clear indication of the likelihood as to seeing severe storms. And right now, I wouldn't be surprised if we did see quite a few severe storms heading into the evening hours tonight. So this is the time frame now where you just want to more so be prepared. Have your devices plugged in. Have a way to receive weather notifications. Get the WBIR app so that way if you end up losing power later on tonight, you can just log into the app and watch us give live coverage. Now, I will say this is the thing that most people are probably most concerned about is when you hear this word tornado. Now, we do have a fairly high risk of seeing some tornadoes. We have what we call a 10% hatched. So already for those areas shaded in yellow, we are looking at a little bit of a higher threat for seeing that possibility of some storms with rotation in place. Initially, the timing for this opportunity for some rotating storms across the plateau is going to be right when that initial line moves along the plateau. So right around 4 to 6 p.m. And then the Southern Valley also has the opportunity for seeing some rotation. This is just where the parameters are a little bit higher in place. And when you have that hatched line, that's where the National Weather Service, again, and the Storm Prediction Center are kind of pairing up together and saying, okay, there's slightly higher parameters, again, seeing the opportunity for some stronger storms with the rotation in place in that area. In addition to watching the opportunity for some storms with rotation, some of these storms could really bring in some moderate to heavy rain, and this could lead to some localized flooding. So flooding is going to be a concern. Watching the chance for an isolated tornado, gusty straight line winds. We could have winds up to around 70 to 80 miles an hour, which could lead to downed trees or power outages. And then also looking at that chance for hail. So it is going to be a little bit of a doozy of a system, that's for sure. Let's go into a little bit more of a detail of the arrival of storms, and then we'll go into your Futurecast model. Right now, we're looking as early as, let's say, 4 o'clock this afternoon across the plateau. And we're talking Fentress, we're talking Scott counties, Cumberland counties. We'll watch this system as it does push its way through parts of Middle Tennessee, but this is kind of the earliest that we're expecting across our area. And then down into the Southern Valley where we still have that risk for seeing some isolated tornadoes. That's going to carry on closer to around 5, 6 o'clock. And then we'll watch this line push into the Central Valley for those areas shaded in orange. That's going to be closer to around 5, 6 6, 7 o'clock into the central part of the evening, and then off into the higher elevations as we go throughout the night tonight. Now, models do indicate a little weakening as this system slides its way off to the east. Just a little weakening. I still expect these storms to still be very strong, but the initial kind of round of activity that's going to be pushing across the plateau is where we are expecting these storms to be at their strongest. And you have to think, with the daylight still out and still seeing sun in place, I mean, that's when we're going to likely have some of the strength of these storms still with us. So Futurecast models, again, here you can see we get right around 3, 4 o'clock. Some of those showers and thunderstorms push their way across the plateau. Getting into the evening hours, this model's actually delayed itself a little bit from where it was at just moments ago, but getting anywhere between 7 to 8 o'clock heading into the evening hours tonight, and then pushing up into the higher elevations. And you notice there is that little bit of a weakening that's going to be happening as it makes its way into the higher elevations. So further west, basically to the west of I-75, is where we're expecting some of the strongest storms to be, but heavy rain, gusty winds, frequent lightning still going to be a part of this system as it does track its way off to the east. Behind this system, we continue to see some really interesting dynamics in place with much cooler air. And I hate to say it because it's been so beautiful lately, but there is that chance that we could even see a few isolated flurries as we go into the start of your Thursday. So let's get a little bit more into what we're seeing again, big picture wise. If you notice, off to our north in parts of Kentucky, we are seeing again multiple severe thunderstorm warnings that we have in place. We have a few tornado warnings. So this system does have the potential of producing storms with rotation in place. As this cold front continues to slide off to the east, you see that severe thunderstorm warning that we have near Memphis. As this cold front continues to slide off to the east, it's that line of showers and thunderstorms that will be pushing into our area. But this is going to impact a lot of people. With that level 4 threat to our north, that's for areas shaded in that red. That's where we have a slightly higher opportunity for seeing some very intense storms moving through. Here across East Tennessee, still seeing a level 2 and a level 3 risk. And so again, anytime you have any opportunity for some storms from the Storm Prediction Center, that is when you do need to take this serious. So warm front to our north. This cold front is going to be passing its way through the region. We'll watch those showers and thunderstorms continue to slide their way into the Central Valley as we go throughout the evening hours. And then by early tomorrow morning, most of the severe threat will come to an end. But you notice, look off to our north again, we're going to have this cold front, or this low pressure system that's going to be sliding in with some much colder air. And that's where we're going to have that wraparound moisture going into your Wednesday and the opportunity for maybe even some snow activity across the higher elevations, and that's when we're going to be entering into the dogwood winter. So definitely going to be monitoring again all different types of impacts across the region. The first one is going to be those straight line winds. As I mentioned before, 70 to 80 mile per hour wind gusts, not out of the question. Now is the moment again to prepare yourself to maybe bring in some of that furniture, bring in the trash cans, have everything ready to go, plug in your devices, get your chargers ready to go, and make sure you do have a way of receiving those weather notifications in case you do lose power. 1 to 2 inches plus of rain going to be a possibility. So this could lead to standing water on the roadways. This could lead to some localized flooding, just depending on how quickly this rain comes down. There is that possibility, as we mentioned before, for some rotation within these storms. I would say that the main threat is going to be when this line of storms continues to initially push its way across the plateau. And although hail is not the biggest concern, considering we will have cold air aloft and some of these storms again are going to have quite a bit of lift, we will have that chance for seeing up to quarter-size hail as well. So going to be a rather busy day across the area. We're doing this Facebook Live right now in preparation for what we're going to be seeing later on today. I will let you know that we have full team coverage. We're going to have Mike Simon, who's going to be doing the noon show. We'll be doing live cut-ins as we go throughout the afternoon. And if we need to, we'll continue to be prepared to do cut-ins as we go throughout the evening hours tonight. Todd and Cassie, again, going to be keeping you updated as we go throughout the rest of the evening. Our full team watching everything on social media. But when it does come to some storm coverage again, after this storm makes its way out of the area, if you can provide us information, if you can provide us photos, videos, again, when it comes to this type of weather that's moving through, that's our eyes and our ears for really a true view as to what is happening across the area. So let me kind of recap one more time and go through some of the impacts that we have in place, and then maybe Maddie, if we have any questions, we can kind of go over that, but I'm just going to do a quick little recap of some of the impacts that we will have leading into tonight. So as you heard us say, today is a 10 weather impact day. First and foremost, breezy conditions going to be a part of today's forecast. Winds coming out of the southwest. Most of us are already seeing those wind gusts up to around 20 to 30 miles an hour. Level 2 for areas shaded in yellow. Again, this does kind of go right along with that general fact that we'll see some weakening as this system pushes off to the east. And then basically the bigger concern is going to be that concern for some straight line gusty winds. Most of us sitting under that level 3 risk for seeing some strong storms. The risk for tornadoes is all across East Tennessee, so we do have that risk. We do not have any watches in place. We'll see where the rest of the afternoon and evening goes. But this is basically saying that we have the ingredients in place. It's kind of like, remember when we talk about, having like a cupcake mix, eggs, the butter, the milk, you have all those ingredients in place, but it's really not until you put it all together and you bake it that you get that cupcake. So we've got the ingredients in place. We just have to see if everything comes to fruition. So we will continue to see that opportunity for storms with rotation in place, especially across parts of the plateau and going down into the Southern Valley. Flooding is also going to be a concern. We have that elevated risk across East Tennessee, as some areas could see over 1 to 2 inches of rain. We are going to be posting all of this information on social media, and we have a full article with everything you need to know about these storms over on our website. Arrival of storms, again, this is a rough estimation. The timing of these storms has been where we've had a little bit of uncertainty. Right now it looks to be between 4 to 6 p.m. across parts of the plateau, looking a little bit later throughout the Central Valley, 5 to 7 p.m., and then pushing up into the higher elevations. I would say 6 to 8 p.m., but I wouldn't be surprised if we did see most of these storms kind of stick around a little bit later, as some of our models have been kind of slowing down and pushing this cold front a little bit later on into the evening. So a few showers and thunderstorms kind of push their way across parts of the plateau. That line of storms starts to make its way into the area. 5, 6 o'clock, pushing into the Central Valley, 7, 8 o'clock, and then we'll likely see this system continue to slide its way into the higher elevations as we go into the early hours of your Wednesday. So going to be a busy night tonight. My best advice, again, from here and forward is just to be prepared. I know that these storms definitely can give a lot of people some anxiety, and we get that. The best place that you can be, again, is going to be in your house. If you do not feel safe in your house, or if you don't have a place to go, you just try and find a neighbor or a friend and say, hey, these storms make me a little bit more on the nervous side. Is there anywhere I can go in your house, maybe spend the night, just a safer place? Let's quickly talk about, again, let me see if I can pull up this graphic. When it comes to where to go if we do have a tornado in your house. Let's see if we can pull up this graphic. I'm kind of doing this on the fly, everybody. But I will just let you know that the safest place to go, again, is going to be in the most bottom level layer of your house, and it's going to be away from all windows. It's going to be away from out exterior walls, so that's going to be an area where you do want to avoid. A lot of this is going to be because of flying debris, and we can post this over onto our social media pages as well. But when it comes to tornado safety, again, where do you want to go? You want to try and go to the most inner part of your house. If you have a hallway, closet, a bathroom, a stairwell, just basically anywhere you can go, avoiding those exterior walls in your house. And if you can, try and find some way to cover your head. If you have a bike helmet on hand and these storms make you a little bit more on the anxious side, put that next to some of your safety kit. Put that next to your bottled water and maybe some snacks that you can put in your safe place if these storms continue to make their way into the area. The best place, if you do have it, again, is going to be in the lowest level of your house, away from windows and away from exterior walls. And that's just going to be, again, worst case scenario if these storms, again, continue to come into fruition, where you can go in case you do need to get into that safe place. But you have plenty of time between now and then. It's going to be a warm, breezy day. Temperatures in the upper 70s. We're supposed to have soccer practice this afternoon, so we'll see if that does happen. But overall, these storms that make their way through the area tonight certainly going to be on the busy side. Maddie, do we have any big questions you think that people want to know? Or I know it's rather early on in the day, and I'm sure a lot of people are just wanting to know about their location and what time it'll move in. Yeah, the hail is not the biggest part. Someone was asking if there was going to be hail within these storms. So hail is actually not one of the biggest risks that we have in place. I would say that straight line gusty winds will be the biggest concern. Hail, if we do see it, severe hail again is going to be up to quarter size, 1 inch in diameter. And so that is going to be a possibility. I don't expect widespread hail. But as many of you know who have lived here in East Tennessee long enough, typically when you have storms that have hail within them, it's rather short-lived. So if you are a person who's perhaps trying to protect your vehicle or something like that, not a bad idea to maybe find a parking garage, or if you have a garage, or if you have an area within your neighborhood to kind of park it to keep it sheltered if we do see hail. That's always some preventative measure that you can take leading up to those storms tonight. You think we're good? Okay. Well, again, it's 9:22, so we wanted to keep this short and sweet. It's going to be a warm, breezy day. Again, follow us on social media, folks. We're going to be posting updates, again, as we go throughout the rest of the day. I don't foresee much between now and the afternoon, so picking up those kiddos from school, you should still be in the clear, ready to go. But as you kind of get home tonight, hunker down a little bit and turn us on TV later on this evening for the very latest on these storms. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Enjoy these mild temperatures. We're going to continue to have much more